So we're back to the start, this heat of the Thames Challenge Cup. We have Quintin Boat Club on the Berkshire station and City of Bristol Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station. So this is Club 8. Obviously with the regattas we've had this season with Marlow, the Met, they would have actually come across each other at some point, we hope. They'll have a little bit of insight to race plan of each other. But always it's trying to take that advantage and going out the blocks as quickly as possible, getting that lead and trying to maintain your dominance over your competitors.
Exactly. These crews will know each other. They'll certainly have raced it, you know, either at Marlow or, like you say, the Met, and they'll have an idea of each other's speed. But Henley brings about totally different dynamics in the sort of interrelation between the two crews. It looks like Bristol have gone for the classic Henley technique of trying to front load the race and get out nice and fast. And by the looks of those shots, it's worked.
Yeah, as we come up to the barrier now, so City of Bristol go through the marker. You'll see the board go up on the left-hand side, number 2. Now give us some idea of the margin they have over Quintin. As you can see, it's a couple of lengths at that point. So they've dictated the race from very early on, got out in front, and that allows them to look back. The beauty of our sport, isn't it? We race backwards. So if you're in front, you can watch your competitors.
Yeah, it's pretty unique in that way. I think, as we were talking about earlier, being in a losing position, it makes it doubly hard. Being in a winning position, it makes it sort of twice as easy, because you're able to just dictate the race. You can watch the crew behind you. You can match any moves that they're making. You can respond to anything that they're planning to do. It does make life a lot easier if you're out in front, and it looks like Bristol have pretty much control of this race. They're actually looking really, really good, Bristol. If I just watch their blade work there, loads of synchronicity. It looked like on the start their athletes were well conditioned, well drilled. You can just see them coming down. That's probably a crew to watch actually as the Thames Challenge Cup progresses.
They do look very tidy as a unit. You know, the unison of the blade work, the way they're moving together. If you compare that to the Quintin crew, there's a bit more, I want to say, diverse blade work that's going on there, not that as cohesive, which obviously makes it more challenging with balance, speed. There's a number of things that affects if you're not actually moving well as a unit.
Yeah, diverse is one word for it. They're actually playing a pretty dangerous game, Quintin, getting quite close to the booms. I think the Cox has just corrected their course, come back out into the middle. But that won't matter to Bristol. They're probably home and dry at this point, enjoying their row down the Henley course, as we all should be today. It's wonderful to be here after sort of an enforced 2-year absence, and fantastic to see Bristol just enjoying themselves as they come into the second half of this one.
And just what are your memories of Tom at the regatta? What's your fondest memory?
My fondest memory? Oh, Mark, I'm hoping at 12:30 I'll have a new fondest memory, commentating with you for an hour and a half. My fondest memory is probably racing myself in the Forley Challenge Cup. I was never a particularly gifted athlete, and we managed to compete 3 years in a row in the Forley and win Wednesday races each year and then lose on the Thursday. So the losing's tough, but the winning is unparalleled.
And what positions, after you're looking at this race here, there's a crew in front, did you have this opportunity to race on the Wednesday and win by a margin of this size, or?
We were never that good, to be honest. It was always sort of two or three lengths, so comfortable but not comfortable enough to take my foot off the gas. So never quite got my paddle down the course, but winning a race at Henley is pretty special, especially crossing that line. You've got the stewards clapping you, you've got the atmosphere, the unique just situation you find yourself in. It's amazing, really.
And I suppose that's something that's really unique about this year, where the athletes are boating from. They can actually see the racing for once, because normally it's behind us where we are in the commentary box, kind of hidden away. But now they're actually kind of along the stewards stretch of the river, where they're opposite the regatta enclosure where that is, and the stewards enclosure. So they're actually going to see the racing come past, which is another new dynamic to the event this year.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, I was sort of perched in the stewards enclosure earlier, and you could hear crewmates and teammates coming down to the bank to cheer their respective boats on. So that definitely does add a new dynamic and a bit of a push for clubs like Bristol, who might not have the support in depth at the bank, but now have the added benefit of people on the Buckinghamshire side. It's a really smart crew, that, Mark, I have to say. I know I said it earlier, but they do look good, and I think this is one of the better City of Bristol crews we've had at the regatta in the past few years.
Yeah, they're moving well as a unit and actually coming down low gears while they're in front, being consistent with it, not letting it fall apart. They still look a well-drilled unit, so that's really promising for them. And obviously, as a Wednesday race, it's nice to have kind of a start piece, if you want to call it that, up to the barrier, and then be able to take the gas off and enjoy kind of going over the course and you know, a really important thing is obviously going through those race calls, isn't it? So the cops, I'm sure, will still go through those processes. There's an opportunity to go down the track in that race environment.
Exactly. I don't think the foot will come off the gas too much, and you're right, it's almost like a run. This will provide them with a nice carbon copy, a simulation of what's to come tomorrow and potentially on Friday, and maybe beyond. Let's see. It's a pretty open Thames Challenge Cup this year, so it really could be a good year for Bristol.
Well, that's the exciting thing, actually, with not so many races happening, is that no one really knows the form guide. So that brings, you know, as a spectator, an added interest to all these events, because it's not just a done deal with some crews, even though it never is at Henley, but it just adds a little bit more mysteriousness about the regatta this year. So as we mentioned, Bristol looking very composed there as they're rowing in along the stewards enclosure. Being able to take it in is always nice. Have a little look round, see if you can see anybody in the crowd.
Yeah, it's a position that's pretty luxurious.
And that's City of Bristol crossing the line first in their heat of the Thames Challenge Cup. And we have Quintin making their way to the line now. So that's a win for the City of Bristol Rowing Club, who beat Quintin Boat Club in the heat of the Thames Challenge Cup.